No, I don't.
Oh, hang
Oh,
on.
are you listening to a
Yep,
friend?
gotta mute it. Sorry. I just check everyone else is on mute. Do. Yeah, I think everybody else is on mute. Oh, no, Shell, I'm gonna mute you. Sorry. Yeah, I think we're all on mute. Right, so let me share my screen and make it big. So we're kind of going to go over a lot of the points that I kind of want you guys to understand, some of the basic bits, bringing it all the way back, but also explaining, using myself as a tool for a bit of context, because I do think that's quite helpful because I know whenever I set anybody's macros, sometimes it's a bit like, oh God, like what? How the hell am I supposed to live on these really low calories? And that's how it feels, doesn't it? Going, whoa, that's not going to be possible. Now, it is wholly possible because there is no macros that I've set for anyone that I haven't previously set for somebody before. And also, the lowest amount I am prepared to set anybody is the lowest amount that I have ever successfully done. I do not believe in any lower. Now, though you can technically go lower than even the like 1300 is the lowest I've set anybody for context in this program ever. Now, you can go a little bit lower than that. Ultimately, it's all going to come down to how much fat have you got to lose? How fast do you want to lose it? How how energetic are you throughout your day? Like how much movement are you getting in? All of these different things play a part, but we will get into that. But before we do, massive shout out to Heather, 2.5 stone gone, and trousers that didn't fit her for 9 years. And God bless her, she kept hold of the fucking trousers. I feel like that is testament in herself. She knew I am not staying here forever. But now the trousers she held onto for 9 years do not fit her. So she's actually exceeded her 9 year trouser holding expectation in Stronghair, which is obviously incredible. Stacey. Now, I actually shared her Friday check-in. Even I was like, wow, absolutely fucking phenomenal. And I shared it with the Glowvembers because I was like, this is sensational. Now, I will share it on my Instagram as well. But annoyingly, I already did all of the edits like 2 weeks ago, and now she looks even better. So I'm like, oh, for God's sake. So I'm going to be sharing older stuff, but it took me ages to piece it together. So it is what it is, but she does look phenomenal. And then Caroline Robbo, like just the conversations when I coach you guys through the journey and then the feeling of the body fat no longer being the primary thing, that's when you know in somebody's brain it's no longer an aesthetic. It's no longer the kind of, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with aesthetic goals. I think usually it's the initial driver, isn't it? I don't feel like I look good. I don't like what I see in the mirror. I will not wear a bikini. I don't want to be in photos. Like, get all of that piece. I definitely do. And I've been there. But when you hear somebody say, I'm smashing off these PBs left, right, and center, I am strong, I am bringing my best package each and every single time I go to the gym. When somebody's excited to train, and like tonight, I think it was tonight, she shared it tonight, but an 80 kilogram PB on deadlifting, phenomenal. And her goal is to drive towards getting like 2 times her body weight, which again, amazing. So I love that. I love the fact somebody that was terrified of the weighing scales, that's no longer a metric that she cares about because she's already achieved that bit. Now she just wants to be strong as fuck and as healthy as she physically can be. And then welcome finally to all of the Glowvember challenges. You guys are here. Now, I cannot see the chat as I am going through these slides. But if you've got a question, if anything comes up that comes to mind, please just pop it in the chat box as we go. And then what I'll do is address anything that we come to at the end. Now, just try and make it somewhat clear because you might be commenting on something I said 25 minutes ago and I'm not going to know what you're referring to. So just try and leave some clues to what you're saying in the chat box. And then when I get back to it, we'll know what we're talking about. So some of the results, I mean, these are actually, all of these results are really old. This was a really old slide I put together, and the results get even better and even better every single year that we do this. But why do women often struggle? Why is it that we, and I'd say a lot more than men typically, Slimming World, Weight Watchers, yo-yo dieting, this concept which I've already had to address quite recently, where people are trying to undercut their calories by too much. It is this concept, this world of if I drop my calories way quicker, I will get the results faster, I'll drop the body fat faster. But what actually happens, if you go too hard, too fast, you won't be able to sustain it. That's the reality. If you can't, if you know, right, I've got a stone to lose, 2 stone to lose, whatever it might be, and you're thinking, I'll do all of that on 700, 800 calories. If you can't sustain that for 6, 7 months, however long it would take in order to lose that like 2 stone, you're not going to be able to do it. You're not going to get there. Categorically, that's just not going to happen. So both of those two things, and Slimming World, Weight Watchers, a lot of the time they did drive this narrative, but it just doesn't get anybody the results. Doing a ton of HIIT and cardio, running, also not ideal for fat loss, also not ideal for the building of the muscle piece. Those two things, when they are not like in tandem. Now, I'm not saying that cardio is the enemy by no stretch of the imagination, but we should not be doing that instead of strength training. Completely different things. Taking an all or nothing approach, so trying to train 6 days a week, we see that all of the time. I've written programs even for women where they're like, I really want to do 5 days. Usually within 2 weeks, we've brought it all the way back to 3 days because it's like it's just not achievable for most corporate women. Cutting out carbs, again, carbs are not the enemy, which I will take you through. Shift work, career demands, that can be another one. We often coach nurses, anaesthetists. We've got different women with different requirements inside of the program. Working with a personal trainer for fat loss, never going to get you to fat loss. 9 times out of 10, PT has a completely different job to an online fitness coach. We're very, very different kettles of fish. Putting yourself at the bottom of the never-ending to-do list. I'm pretty sure if I asked you all to put your hand up if you'd ever done that, the answer would be yes. I did it this morning. I was guilty of this. I stupidly looked at my WhatsApps at about 7 o'clock this morning when I was in the gym. And I do have a private, like my personal WhatsApp, and I have a business WhatsApp, but it all runs through one phone. And I don't turn notifications off, so they come through at all hours. And I clicked into them all. I was firefighting hard at 7 a.m. this morning, and I ended up getting quite upset actually in the gym, and I left. I was like, I now can't concentrate. I got to go sort all of this shit show out that's going on behind the scenes. 7 o'clock in the morning on a Monday. I was like, that's a great way to start your week, isn't it? So again, trying to set some boundaries for yourself. And I need to lead by example there. And I did not do that very well this morning, but that was my responsibility. I didn't set the boundary. I can make sure my notifications are not on pre 8 o'clock in the morning because you should be fairly uncontactable at that time. Do you know what I mean? That is still your time. So learning to set your own boundaries will serve you. Making excuses, there is a big difference between reasonable and not reasonable. And it is really interesting because I speak to women in the DMs all the time. And it's really funny when I ask them certain questions, I can immediately tell if somebody is full of shit and they're just making loads and loads of reasons and they believe their bullshit as well. And it's really hard. Like, I immediately just have to go, here's the podcast link, off you go, enjoy, because some people are not coachable because they want to believe their narrative of potentially being like a victim mentality, or here's all of the reasons why I cannot achieve something, even though I can guarantee I coach a woman who's gone through everything or going through everything exactly the same, who is crushing it. We can choose to believe our own bullshit or not. So that again, but you've got to be ready. You've got to be ready to take action. That sits on us, and nobody else can dictate when we are actually ready. So just a couple of examples. So Mandy looks fucking phenomenal. Again, these are actually older photos, but she just absolutely killing it. And even Mandy can't quite believe what she achieves. And when she looks at herself in the gym mirror, she's like, what the hell, how have I actually achieved this and got there? So she deserves a massive shout out because enormous amount of body fat lost in the journey. And then this is an example I wanted to show Helen, because this is the body recomposition piece that a lot of people don't understand. And again, I'll use myself as an example in a moment, but it's that kind of going, how do I do this on 13, 14, 1500 calories even? When actually, if you're like Helen here, so I think Helen lost about 8 kg. And it doesn't look like a lot, does it? But you can see the package she's got is a lot toned, a lot fitter, a lot more like it's a lot less fluffy. And actually, if her first photos, and it's always really funny, whenever anyone comes into the program, their photos always look like the left. Then they gain a lot of confidence and they go, I'm fucking getting naked, guys. And then they look like the right. And you see the developments happening when somebody's actually like getting to where they want to be. So sometimes we don't ever get to see a true before, but I promise it did look very, very different. And yeah, she definitely put in the work. Reverse dieted. I think we're actually, this again, this was slightly older. I think we're on to like, it's about 2,400 calories now, which incredible, absolutely incredible. And this is a woman, by the way. I don't think anybody I have ever coached has had more uphill battles than this woman to face. And she is still inside strong here. She is still chipping away. She's still showing up for herself in the best ways that she can. So this is me. So again, a little bit like Helen, I was very much in the skinny fat category, and we coach quite a lot of women in this category. This is also quite similar to the Meno belly category, where you feel like actually I might not be wildly out of shape, but I'm definitely holding on to like the belly pouch or like Meno belly, mum tom, whatever you guys want to call it. We've coined it different names for different stages of life. I was just putting on weight due to like just stress basically and drinking nearly every single night. And it was not where anybody should be basically. So I went on obviously a big kind of health and fitness journey. But you can see now, this is going back years and years ago. But you can see, and bearing in mind the muscle, the photo on the left, sorry, I had been building muscle at this point for probably 6 to 9 months, I want to say. This is so that photo is not my actual true before. I did actually look worse than that, but I refused to be in any photos. I refused to, that was not something I was comfortable with, and I did not want to do that. And I was working with a PT. Again, I wasted like the best part of 6 months not getting anywhere. I was like, what? This is not working. Why do I still look the same? But I was building muscle at the very least. That piece was actually happening. Um, but you can see obviously my before, like say before, not quite before, but do you know what I mean? Like I work in kilograms, like 9.5 stone. It doesn't actually mean anything to me, but for a lot of you guys, you might work in stone. So that was kind of where I was at. I genuinely do believe I was over 10 stone when I actually did start. Like I say, this was a bit further through. Then you can see between June and then July, so I was on 1,300 calories by this point. And I was, for the sake of argument, about 4 kilograms down. And you can see the difference in the package that I was bringing. Like you can see even the muscles like in my legs, like you can see all of the definition between where everything had already been built and then I was cutting it all to show it. Now, again, as a new person to lifting correctly, you do get newbie gains. So you do have the potential to build muscle and drop body fat at the same time when you are new into this world. I don't have that privilege anymore. A lot of my women don't have that privilege anymore because we've been lifting for too long now. So you do not, categorically, you do not want to waste your first 6 to 12 months fucking around and finding out in the gym, because you will lose all of the benefits that you could actually gain in that time by just not getting it right. You need that structured, actual progressive overload program. So, but this is why I did 1,300 calories. I wanted to get in and I wanted to get out. I did not want to be in a diet phase for the rest of time. I wanted to make it fast. I wanted to get it over and done with. And then I wanted to reverse diet, which essentially is drip feeding calories back up over a period of time so you don't put the body fat back on. Funnily enough, I had an accountability buddy friend doing a cut at the exact same time as me. And she went down to 1,300 calories. So I was like, I need to do the same. I didn't know what I was doing. And again, I had a PT. He didn't coach any of this. So I was like, I'll just do what she's doing. And she went to Australia within a couple of weeks of doing this, whereas I actually shed the weight. Then I did the reverse diet, and I probably had a good 3 months reverse dieting before I went to Mexico. She put all of the weight back on that she lost in Australia. I put none of it back on. So there are some clues there. And again, if you'd have said to me, get down to 55 kilograms, I would have been a bit like, oh no, that's a bit light, isn't it? Oh no. Guaranteed, you've always got more to lose than you actually think you do. Smart scales will leave some clues as to where your body fat percentage is, where your BMI is, where your visceral fat is. I've even done a couple of reels about it not that long ago. If you scroll back on my page, what we should be aiming for. But yeah, that's my physique. You can see I'm pretty shred here, pretty lean. Like there wouldn't be that much more to go on my body. But we only need to focus on three things. This is the good news. And this does not matter. I was having this conversation with Fran the other day. Whether you're perimenopausal or not, you will have slightly bigger uphill battles, as in sleep deprivation, not easy. Night sweats, cold sweats, hot sweats, not easy. Like all of these different things that you can experience through the perimenopause, for those of you who are, they can make your life harder. But the good news is, a lot of the symptoms you're experiencing, including the meno belly, including like flushes, all of these different things, they are controlled in the same way as anybody that wants to do great with their health and fitness. They are the same principles. Like I say, I'm not saying it's not harder. A little bit like someone that's got PCOS. You might have to dig a little bit deeper. Endometriosis, you might have to dig a little bit deeper than somebody that's got none of these things. Somebody that's had a baby versus somebody that hasn't. Everybody's got a slightly different comparable, but the principles remain the same. So, nutrition, energy in, energy out. I will go through again another piece on the 1,300 calories very shortly, but we'll get to that point shortly. Easiest way, track it properly. As we know, fitness watches are not accurate, so you have to disregard calories burned. It's one of the biggest mistakes that women make, thinking I've burned 400 calories in that workout. I think it's also one of the reasons why women don't think strength training is as sexy or as efficient for them, because they think, well, I didn't really burn as many calories doing that. No, and that's not the point. The point is not to burn calories, it's to build muscle mass and drop the calories through the nutrition piece. You got to track everything, guys. I'm big on this, and like I will see a mile off. The biggest thing that I hate to see is when people track 100 this, 100 that, 50 this, 75 that, 60 this, and I'm going, there's no way. Every now and again, you're going to have a 62 grams. You're going to have a slice of bread that might be like whatever, 85 grams, 102 grams. Like, not everything is round numbers. So if I'm seeing round numbers, I'm going to be calling people out on that. Digital food weighing scales, not eyeballing. That's what we have to do. Licks, bites, finishing off children's dinner, guesstimating, all of these things, especially if you're on lower calories, you are swallowing up that deficit. And it is really easily done. Really easily done if you do not pay attention to the devil in the details, which is also mine and Kat's job. Like Coach Kat's job, we are there strategically to go, no, that's not quite right, is it? Let's have a look at that and bring it back. What's going on here? The healthy eating plate, so 25% protein. I like the consideration of going, right, where's my protein coming from first? So if I'm having my breakfast, mine, as you all well know by now, if you're in strong hair, I have a protein shake for breakfast. I will put some little seeds in there. I've got like this mixed bag of seeds, only a really small amount because seeds count as a fat, so they are higher in calories. Almond milk, unsweetened, or cow's milk semi-skim, depending on if I'm cutting or bulking. and then some oats. I whiz it round the blender, I chug it back, done. Don't have time for breakfast. Takes me 5 minutes. Anyone that says I'm too busy for breakfast, you're full of shit. If I could do all of that in 5 minutes, so can you all. It's that simple. And it's nice and kind of, it's not even that thick. Do you know what I mean? It's a nice texture. It just goes straight down and I'm away. Do you know what I mean? That's all I've got time for. But I'm considering my protein powder is my protein for breakfast. Then I've got my oats, so I'm bringing in my whole grains, which are good also for digestion. I don't personally put fruit or veg in. You could do, you absolutely could do, but I would rather probably have some grapes or something as a snack a bit later on. 3 liters of water a day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, plus the odd snack equals good food hygiene, which I've gone through every single one of you. Breakfast, lunch, dinner. And if I said to you, have you ever heard of not having like dinner? You'd be like, well, no, yeah, we all eat dinner. Dinner's dinner. Do you know what I mean? Well, have you heard of breakfast in this country? Yeah, of course I've heard of it. Fucking do it then. Do you know what I mean? We've heard of it because this is what we're taught. So now we need to implement. Do you know what I mean? And you're not being taught the concept of breakfast by me. You know the concept of breakfast. You probably feed your children breakfast every day. You hope they have a rounded school meal or whatever at school every day and then they come home. You feed them dinner every damn day because they are led by hunger cues, not emotion. And the moment you can separate the two of those things, your life will be better. I promise you, if we can grapple this side of it and actually go, no, you know what? I just need to learn to listen to my hunger cues. Yes, by the way, you will feel hungry. For the first couple of weeks in a deficit, you will feel hungry. And I'm not going to sit here and tell you otherwise. Now, the more whole foods you can get into you, the higher that protein, again, you will feel a bit more satisfied than somebody that doesn't. However, I'm not in a cut right now. I'm talking a million miles an hour with my hands doing a lot of gesticulation right now, which is a great word, by the way, 10 out of 10 word. I'm blinking a lot. Okay, my body, everything. I'm moving my face a lot. When I'm in a cot, when my body realizes after a couple of weeks, oh, the bitch is not feeding us. This bitch is keeping some in reserve here. What starts to happen is your twitch responses start to slow down, which means you stop wasting energy where you don't need to. So you won't twitch as much. You won't blink as much. You won't move your hands as much. You will become a lot stiller, but you have to get to that point. So then you can feel as energized as you would now. You've just got to do the groundwork to get to that point, and then it will calm down and you'll feel more in control. And what will happen, you still burn energy at a really good level, but you burn it when we need to. In the fucking gym or while you're training from home. That's what will happen. So that's where we want to get to. So why is protein so important? Everybody, protein, protein. We need to get protein. Why? Why do we need to get protein? Well, it is absolutely paramount for anyone inside of this program because we are all working on building muscle. We're all working on repairing muscle. Some of the women in the Glowember Challenge, some of the new women inside of Strong Hurt are already noticing the DOMS, the delayed onset muscle soreness. Guess what? Protein is going to help your muscles to synthesize and actually repair themselves and get better. This is what we want. So again, if you're looking for that lean toned body, we've actually got to feed the muscle, which is protein. Boosting your metabolism. So it has the highest thermic effect, which essentially means it burns more calories faster than carbohydrates or fats will ever. So it's also giving you that faster burn effect. So you're going to feel less bloated when you have more protein inside of your diet. Preserving lean muscle mass, so when we are in a cut and when we're over a certain age category, basically anyone over the age of 30, when we're in a cut, having fewer calories, we have to hold on to the muscle we do have, which is also why we're training to try and build it, but also why we're keeping that protein high to keep the muscle onto our physique. Reduces cravings. So protein has the highest satiation qualities, which basically means leaving you feeling satisfied for longer. and improving like your risk of injury as well. We do not want to be catching an injury if we can avoid it. Ironically, no one ever gets injured doing a strong hair workout. It's always like, oh, I just tripped over an office chair, or I just stubbed my toe on the bed and then accidentally fell down the stairs. And then and it's like, for fuck's sake, guys, take care in general life. But I can put two women on the exact same calorie split, and you can be the exact same height, age, weight. The one of them that gets actually hits their macros target, possibly even exceeds it, is the one that will lose more weight. Fact. It has been proven time and time again. However, a question that I get asked all of the time is if I go way over on my protein, and I'm talking about quite significantly here, so I'm under on my calories or I'm at my calorie allowance, but I've gone quite over on protein, but I'm quite under on fats or carbs. Is that okay? Ideally, in an ideal world, we want to get as close to the macro split that I have set you, all of you guys, as possible. You might go slightly over on protein, maybe by 10, 15 kind of grams, that sort of level. But if you're going too high on one and not high enough on the other, like carbohydrates are still our greatest source of energy. If you cut those too low, you are going to be losing some energy. Fats, very, very important for all hormonal health as women. We need healthy fats in our diet. So, again, if you're cutting them too low in favor of protein, that is going to play a part on your physiology. So we want to stay within range. Now, again, there are going to be days where we're slightly higher, slightly lower, and things move around a little bit. That's fine. That's not what I'm talking about. But the vegetarians, I am specifically talking to you now because this is a common problem that we see when we coach vegetarians, where your protein might be down at 60, 70 grams a day. It is not going to be adequate. That is a massive area for you to really hone in on because, and if you need any guidance or support with this, please do let us know. But I have shared vegetarian option meal guides with everybody that it's relevant to. But that is a big battle that you guys are up against. So macros, so I'm going to fly through this a little bit, but protein, 4 calories per every 1 gram. Carbohydrates, exactly the same. Fats are 9 calories per every 1 gram. So you get a lot less bang for your buck with something like an avocado than you would if you have a slice of bread, as an example. So everybody thinks carbohydrates are the enemy, and they are not. We need all three in the right measurements in order to reach our goals. Whether you are building or whether you are cutting, it does not matter. The reason why carbohydrates are demonized is because for every, it's actually higher than I've put in here, but it's usually around 4 to 5 grams of water are retained for every 1 gram you consume. So it's the highest amount of water retention for any of the macro groups. So that's the consideration. If you take your carbs too high, or you start going high day, low day, high day, low day, high day, low day, you are going to see that fluctuation on the weighing scale. The weighing scale will start to go high day, low day, high day, and you'll be going, oh my God, yesterday I weighed better than I did today. What the fuck is going on? Well, that's probably what's going on. Your carbs need to try and stay fairly consistent so we can see the body fat dropping away beautifully. Otherwise, we will see those big peaks and troughs. We have to get out of being sedentary, guys. Requirement. So some of you guys, when you were saying, oh God, like I'm on lower calories than I thought I would be. Now, again, I want you guys to get out of the body fat phase roughly as quickly and sustainably as we can. We've got to get that balance accurate. But what was really interesting, and I think this was the highest amount I have ever seen ever when I was doing all of the Glowember calculations. I sat there doing them all on Thursday, actually. That was literally everything I did all day on Thursday. And what would happen is people would tick moderately active, which means exercising 4 to 5 times a week, which is in this kind of like in this sort of like TD calculator. So the calculation I use, you're getting a 1.55 multiplier because you are more active than somebody, for instance, who is doing little to no exercise and sat down all day long. They only get a 1.2 multiplier. So 1.2 times something is going to equal less than something that gets a 1.55. However, of a lot of you guys that said you exercise 3 to 5 times a week, your step count might have been down at 3,000. That immediately bumps you. So you think you're moderately active and you think, yeah, I'm smashing it. Steps burn more fucking calories than the exercise piece you are doing. Therefore, unless you're a swimmer, so Karen is my caveat to that piece. She is my big caveat there, but I don't coach any other swimmers inside this program, not that I'm aware of. So you go from being here all the way back to being here. So it brings you back. Now you get away with it a little bit more if you've got 10,000 steps or high steps and you're exercising, amazing. You are in this beautiful position of where we want to be in life. But if your exercise is the contributing factor behind your steps, then again, it's pulling you right back again. It needs to ideally be 10,000 steps plus your exercise is in addition to. It's not always possible. I understand that. And this is why in Stronghold, we will gradually coach you to get to that point. This is also why you'll see the ladies with their walking pads in action tonight, because it's a good use of time. But this is the point. This is also why some of you guys might have ended up on lower calories than you thought where you would actually want to be. But your metabolism hasn't slowed down. You have. It's actually, I was analysing a study a few weeks ago, and the metabolism does not actually slow down for women until we reach 60s. That's when it's about mid 60s where it actually starts to slow down. Up to that point, so unless you are in your 60s, you have not got a fuck metabolism. You've just become very sedentary. You've stopped moving. And I think if you ask yourself that, have I slowed down in myself from my 20s? Yeah, you know what? I probably have. Do you know what I mean? A lot of you guys, if you answer that earnestly, you'll be able to say, yeah, I don't move around as much. The jobs you tend to have by nature as corporate women immediately slow you down versus maybe being a barmaid at 18, 20 when you're on your feet all of the time. Like everything shifts and changes. So another consideration for you guys. Steps are what I was talking about. So they are fitting into this second largest band of calories that we will burn in a day, which is your non-exercise activity thermogenesis. So they're burning around 15% of your overall calories burned in a day. It's usually a little bit higher as well. But this is your base metabolic rate. This is you just existing. This is you sleeping. You burn more calories than you do doing anything else in your entire day because you spend 8 hours asleep. That burns more calories, okay? So this is why your exercise piece, which is the teeny tiny piece at the top. So anyone that thinks, no, I'm moderately active, I'm exercising 3 to 5 times a week. Doesn't really matter if you're not getting the 10,000 steps a day in. Now it does if we're building muscle, because that is buying you the future of your calories. And what I should have explained to you all when I showed you all the way back here, this photo. So when I cut now, I get to cut on 2,300 calories. And you know why? Because I built a fuck ton of muscle on my physique. That's why. So I can eat nearly 3,000 calories a day to maintain my physique and pretty much have a six-pack all year round. Maybe gets a tiny bit more hidden in the winter, but that's about it. I can do a really short cut in the springtime, shred it back down again, lose a few kgs, and I will just forever look very similar to this kind of physique where that muscle is immediately on display. I also very much design programs in favor of trying to build that booty. It's the largest muscle we have on our physiques. We want it to be an absolute weapon, and it's going to burn more calories for us. So again, we want those, it's what we want. We want that hourglass, beautiful physique. But I had a pancake butt here. So when you first do that cut, you're not likely to grow glutes in that phase. That comes next when we get out of a cut. It's really hard to build the glutes in a cut. So that comes next. But that is why because the lifting piece and the muscle piece is buying you the future. And everybody thinks, oh my God, I'm going to get bulky. No, you're not. Unless you're going to start taking testosterone. And just to caveat this, because I do get asked this every now and again, I will stop talking soon, I promise. Just trying to air everything out. I do get asked in sometimes when women take HRT, they can have testosterone in there. You should, because we also have a slight spike in testosterone around ovulation in a natural woman's cycle. And HRT is a hormone replacement therapy for perimenopause that's trying to regulate you back to how you were. So all it's doing is replicating the organic levels that we have in our system as women. So no, you cannot get bulky. I've been lifting so hard, so heavy for so many years, and I still just look lean. I still just look toned. And it's like, and I do see some women online. I think she's got an incredible back. Oh my God. You do think like, and again, women say that to me about my glutes, like, oh my God. I'm like, yeah, they took years to build out. I would love to say you could do that in 3 months. Never going to happen. Never going to happen unless you genetically store a little bit of body fat there to give you that rounding, which I do not. I had to build it in muscle, which takes a long fucking time. Right, let me go back to where I was. So, muscle building piece of the puzzle. Stick to your damn training plans, every single one of you. They are designed out of love, out of care, out of attention to detail, out of training like an absolute queen. We want them, so when you get a bit more advanced, they'll become closer to 6 weeks at the beginning, then more like 4 weeks. Everybody gets excited, everybody wants to try things. We must be tracking those lifts. We want to make sure that we are applying the principles of progressive overload, which means getting a little bit stronger and building a teeny tiny bit of muscle. And by this, I mean the smallest amount. It will be microscopically small amounts every time you lift, and you won't notice a huge amount of difference until a good kind of 6 months plus of really lifting and then dropping the body fat concurrently. Form checks, so sending videos, not the Glowembers, unless you've got the confidence to send it through the community. If you have, go for it. But obviously, if you're our clients, that's part of the service. You very much get to send those to us. Training within a few reps to failure. I did want to go through a breathing technique for lifting, but we're not going to get a chance to do that tonight. So what I'm going to do, that will be next week, which is the Valsalva effect with breathing, basically, where we can create like an additional rib cage around our physique to breathe correctly, to prevent any injury and to get stronger. It's basically like wearing a lifting belt. So it's giving you another layer of protection, but we won't get time to do that today. Yes, if I've programmed you 10 reps, you shouldn't be able to do more than 13. So 3 more than what I've programmed is your maximum. If you can just keep going and going and going and going, you need heavier weights, as long as your form is where we want it to be. Weekends, don't fuck them up, guys. We still see it. Am I keeping you awake, Karen? No, I'm only joking. I don't blame you. And I get sick of hearing my own voice as well. So, and I start losing it at this point. But they take up 30% of your week, guys. And if you are undoing it every single weekend and you've only got a certain allowance, I did go through this in a lot of detail, by the way. And when I share this training with everybody, if you then go into my channel, you will see last week's training. Please watch it, especially coming up to the Christmas period. I promise it will serve you. So it's worth half an hour of your time to go back and watch it. So I'm not going to go through that because I've already done that last week. So this is exciting. So I am going to offer, this is only going to be, I haven't figured it out yet for the Glowember women. I promise once we do those first check-ins, I will be considering my options and who potentially could be a really good fit. But for the existing women inside of Strong Her, we are going to be doing a VIP offer. So it's only going to be, like I say, for existing clients. I'm going to cap it for 5 for now as the early bird offer. This is for the women who truly want to go the distance with 2026. You want to bring your strongest, confident, your best package for the duration of 2026. 3 months completely free. So an entire, basically a quarter completely free on me. And we were also going to put in like over £1,000 worth of bonuses as well. So if you guys are fully serious about going, oh, I want to learn more about this, please message me. Don't DM me on Instagram. I'll never fucking see it. Like the traffic on there is wild at the minute. Message me on WhatsApp, Black Friday. Okay, so if you are at all interested in learning more about that, for some of you guys that I think this is going to be a great fit, I probably will come out to you because I know some of you are freaking out going, I'm coming to the end of the last 12 months that I did. What am I going to do? Fear not. Fear not, guys. I will be coming out to you guys. I've just had so much on the last few days to get Glowvembers up, so we will get it sorted. But yeah, if you are really interested in this, then please message me. I will not be coming back to anyone tonight. Just know you're not missing out. I promise tomorrow I will be looking at these messages. Tonight, I need to go to bed. I need to stop fucking talking. Right, so I'm going to load the chat box. Stop share is the right button. Where are we? Oh, that was a nice one. So there wasn't really anything. So, does anybody have anything that they want to ask at this point? Anything that they want to go through? So, Lisa, we've got weightlifting. I get lower back pain, but I think a lot of it is down to needing a stronger core. Should I not weightlift? No, you need to weightlift. You need to strength train. That is the only way you are going to get stronger, is by applying the stimulus needed to actually build out a bit of strength there. Now, you might feel it with certain exercises over others, but things like RDLs performed with really good form and technique, and that is you have to get the form and technique right. I used to get a really bad back deadlifting. I think deadlifts took me, oh fucking hell, probably about 6 to 8 months to learn how to do correctly. I'm really limmy, really short body, but really limmy, and it's just not one for limmy people. Same as squats. My squat form was horrendous to a point where a chiropractor came up to me when my PT went to the loo, and he was like, you really need to get a PT because otherwise you're going to be spending some time with me. And I was like, well, here's my PT back from the loo. Fucking A. They're not all created equal, let's just say that. But your form needs to be on point. You've got to be able to move correctly, and you need to get it stronger. Now, you might be going a bit too heavy for the base of your back to begin with. You just need to lift lightly and then build up. So when you stop feeling any pain and you go, yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm good on the form, that's when you can start to load up a little bit. But we're talking very incremental, small amounts, and you will still be getting stronger. But you have to strength train, like no shadow of a doubt. Like no one wants to be in a care home because they can't get off the toilet. Getting off the toilet is a squat, guys. That's all it is. Just wanted to know, how many hours a week do you lift at your level, Ash? Same as you guys. Exactly the same. I will lift a lot heavier than you guys, but I've moved slightly more into a 4-day program again. So I used to always do 4 days. Then when I started this business, I couldn't afford the time. So I went back to a 3-day full body program, same as you guys. And also when I was cheerleading, that really took it out of me. So I was like, I don't have enough rest days to recover so I had to drop a strength training program. Now I'm a bit better at cheerleading. I'm not a shit again. So I can usually train lower body on a Monday, upper body on a Tuesday, rest day Wednesday, lower body on a Thursday, cheerleading Thursday night. Sometimes I suck arse on a Friday and I don't have time with check-ins on a Friday. So that's a recovery day again. And then Saturday, I'll do an upper body day. But I'm kind of flip-flopping between 3 days, 4 days, which you shouldn't really do because it changes the structure of a program. But I've just got to do what I can do with timing and recovery, basically. And it depends how arduous cheerleading is. Like they're doing the light switch on ceremony next week. So that's an additional session, but I'm not going to it because I don't like the cold. So I'm not being a team player with that one. But same as you, I just probably lift heavier and do fewer exercises. So because I might need to get to 100 kilograms, I explained this, I think, somewhere earlier. If I do 100 kilos RDL, I will do the bar first, so 20 kilos, then I'll go up to 40, then I'll go up to 60, then I'll go up to 80. So I've got 4 sets before I even start tracking. So only when I get up to the 100 that I'm actively going, right. So I've got a lot of work to build up to that. Now, I won't do as many reps to warm up. I might only do 6 in each bit to warm up, but I still need to rest in between each set and build up slowly. So I might only do 4 exercises in a bit different for upper bodies, easier usually, smaller muscle groups, so I can still pack as much in as you guys would. Um, that being said, pull-ups take it out of you. That's a bit different. Hang on. What about help? So that is what I'm going to be going through next week. No, not in the bad back scenario. That wouldn't serve. It's usually you just have to strengthen the muscles, and what the belt will do is stop you strengthening the muscles and rely on the belt. But the breathing techniques I'll be talking through next week will definitely serve with that. But it's just got to be really good form. That's where you've got to get to. I'm hypermobile too. Welcome to my life. You basically can't lock out on any lifts. So if we're taking like a lat pull down in the gym, as you're bringing that bar overhead, you have to keep this flex here. You can't do that. Otherwise, your elbow will like pop, it moves, and it gets, if it's like me, it really fucking hurts. Like it's so painful. So you have to kind of keep that flex, bring the bar down, come up, bring the bar down, same as squats. I shared this again somewhere the other day. I can't, no, there's 2 groups. I can't remember where I'm sharing anything now. But basically, same as the leg press, you should never, ever straighten your legs fully on a leg press. You have to keep a flex in your legs. You should with a lot of exercises, but that one will bust your leg if you do not do it and you get really heavy with the weight. So don't do it. Like that one, categorically not. But yeah, barbell exercise, absolutely fine. Is it Glowember, the 14-day trial you were advertising? I haven't missed anything, have I? Yeah, that was it. It's running right now. I believe some of the ladies are in on the Zoom, so it's just running concurrent to the main coaching at the minute. I also have to be careful with my lower back historically, but I've been so much better since starting the program. There you go. That is, and it is true. The stronger you build your skeleton, essentially, and the bits of muscle on that pack onto it. So our skeleton muscle starts to decline as we get older. Like the bones are actually starting to like wither away. The only way you can prevent that is by building a layer of muscle around each of those bits of skeleton. So that's essentially what we're doing. So if you're noticing back pain, if you're noticing your body starting to leave you clues, that's telling you you've probably left strength training too late, but the next best time to start is today. The first best time was yesterday, but now it's today. So that's the kind of principle that we're working on. Love your PJs. Yeah, they do always get a comment. They're just home bargains, but I really like them. And the dressing gown, actually. This is home bargains. I think it makes me look like a stripper, but like, I'm here for it. Joe, to his face then. I'm not naked. Don't panic. She shit herself. um, do you have to split the days up? I used to do legs and arms day, but now do whole body. It depends on your training structure. So you would split the days up. If you're training 4 days or more, you would split the days up because if you try and do 4 full body days, there aren't enough days in the week to put a rest day every day. So you might get away with doing 4 days one week, 3 days the next, but otherwise your recovery is going to be on the floor. And you have to remember, ladies, you build muscle when you're recovering. So actually, 1, when you're in a deep sleep, and 2, when you're on your rest days. So the gym is when you're pushing the muscles, but it's actually building when it's recovering on your rest days. So if you're not taking rest days, you're not getting the benefits and you are depleting the efforts of what you're doing. So we need to make sure we're recovering. You said earlier about someone saying you've got good glutes. You really have. Thank you. Like I say, so years in the making, years of getting uncomfortable. If you're a physique like me, which is basically a line, I got nothing. I don't got the boobs. I don't got like the bum. I came straight up, straight down. I'm a very athletic build, I think is the technical. Do you know what I mean? I'm not pear-shaped. I'm not like hourglass. I'm just a line, basically. The only way that you can build on that, you do the cut first, you get shred, you get the six pack, you get the abs, and then you've got to get comfortable putting on a little bit of body fat, a small amount, just so that you can get it to mold around the glutes and get the muscle to develop in that area. But you won't do that from a cut. So if you've got a physique like mine, welcome to the long game. But it's a long game for everyone. Everyone should be strength training, taking care of their health and fitness forever. This should never be yes, we're doing a 2 week thing. We're getting you motivated, getting you taking action at this time of year, because I started my fitness journey in November years and years ago. It's important to me. It's something that I don't want women to just switch off and go, I'll wait until January. I know we've had insane results from women like Caroline who did join in January, but I want you to think of health and fitness as a forever thing. Yes, there are going to be months where you can crush it, some months where it doesn't go as well, but it always needs to be a continuum. You need to be putting the effort that you can bring to the table in all of the months of your life. That's the reality. If you want to live a long, happy life, if you want to see your children grow up healthy, if you want to be showing them the way forward, be a fucking role model then. Show up. Do you know what I mean? That's my view on it. Like, and it might sound harsh if you're not currently doing that, but it's like, this is how it should be. That is how, like, we should be role modeling for the future generations. If you want to be a grandparent, do you know what I mean? Like, you want to swing them around your head with ease. You want them to attend events that you're taking part in and vice versa. Then, yeah, that's the only way we're going to do it. Right, I'm gonna love you and leave you all. This has been recorded, so if anyone needs to watch anything back or ask any questions again off the back of this, you are more than welcome to. Have an incredible evening. We will be stalking the shit out of everybody as we move through the week, so keep an eye out for those little stalky stalks. Have an incredible week, and I will be in touch with everyone very soon. Mwah. Love you all. Bye.